Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Please remain seated and enjoy our dancers as we do our opening song, Grateful. 2, 3. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. Our beautiful dance ministry, give it up.
That was Brooklyn in the middle. Look at that. And you know what? She danced in the intergenerational dance on Anniversary Sunday. And then she went to Sanichi Nana and she goes, "When's the next rehearsal?" And do you know what Nana went and did? She went to her house and taught her this dance so she could be a part of it. So thank you. Welcome and happy Sunday after. Ooh. How is everybody doing? It's beautiful to see you here. Thank you for spending time with us this day. It's always fascinating to me. It's as if we're in a celestial speed up and the year just keeps going by faster and faster. And as we enter into the last month, we've got some beautiful, beautiful, sacred and wonderful opportunities to gather together as community. And so here to tell you about those things is Mr. Sacred himself, David Aurelio.
This gets better every week. That build up. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path, and we hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live inspired. And as Reverend David said, lots of opportunities to do that. Lots of stuff happening in December for the holidays, but let's get through November first because we're all still a little full, but we've got some stuff that's going to be happening. So always, the best way to keep up to date, Facebook page, newsletter, website. Those are the three things we change constantly with updates and changes. Lots of great things coming your way that we'll be introducing. I just want to bring a few things to your attention. Again, just a reminder, the 2015 Pledge Drive continues. Again, that's just to get an idea of where you're pledging for 2015. As the board outlined in the town hall meeting a few weeks back, there's several goals that they want to address for 2015, but we need to see kind of where everybody's pledging is so we know what monies we're working with. So if you can fill that out, I know we sent out an email before the holiday to about 400, a little over 400 people. Those are people who are pledgers right now, and in addition to people who have just given a donation at any time for whatever reason, they may not be a pledger. But we sent you an email just to kind of make it easier. We sent that pledge form to you as well electronically, or you can respond to that email and tell us what your intention is and we'll take care of it for you. But I just need to try and get an idea of where everyone's thinking is at or projecting so that we can look into that. So if you could fill that out, I'd be grateful and appreciative. The box to put those in today is adjacent to the holiday tree. As you can see, it's all decorated for the holidays. So lots of stuff happening for that. So the giving tree, now that was a few weeks back. That was all the charities that were on the tree. I'm happy to say that all the charities were selected, all of you, thank you. And so all of those gifts are due back next Sunday the 7th. That gives us time to then sort them out, make sure we get them back to the charities themselves, because they're going to be presenting them to the actual people the following week, so at their holiday parties. So next Sunday the 7th, very important day, mark that on your calendar. If you did take one of those holiday ornaments, please bring that ornament back with your gifts for that charity, and we'll make sure that it gets delivered the following week. And then I'll give you an update about how many people we touched through that whole campaign. But also, we're also collecting food for City of Light. That's previously known as First MCC. They've changed their name to City of Light, and as you know, they feed the homeless every Wednesday, and we are helping to supplement their food bank. So we've got a big load of stuff out there of food that we're going to be taking over this week, in addition to coats, hats, gloves, you name it, because we know that this is going to be a pretty heavy winter, and so we want to do our share to help the homeless with that as well. So we're collecting those all the way through the 21st. So no rush on that. I will say, Niall Dawson I saw yesterday he brought his Giving Tree stuff, and he said through his work, they exceeded last year's goal. He does a competition through work, and on behalf of SLCA, we're going to be presenting over 1,000 pounds of food to MCC's, City of Light, to their homeless bank. So on behalf of SLCA, so we're thrilled that Niall again thought outside the box, went to his work, and got people involved. Because at this time of year, people want to give, they just don't know how. So I encourage you to do the same. Reach out to those folks, and if anybody you know wants to give, please, we're accepting that food, and we can do a great service. Wise women are having first of two very important meetings today and also next Sunday. They're going to be doing some visioning about where they want to see Wise Women go. Wise Women stands for Women in Spirituality Evolving. And these ladies have done a lot for this center and continue to do so, but they want to set goals for what they want to do in 2015. So ladies, if you are interested in joining Wise Women, they invite you to come to that visioning session today and next week and be involved in making the center even more productive and bountiful than it is. We have one more class for 2014, just one more. And it's called Release and Allow, Navigating the Holidays with Peaceful Intention, with Reverend Dr. David Ault. So if you're interested in that class, it's going to be offered every Monday night starting tomorrow. Monday nights only. Monday nights only. Let me stress that. Can I say that again? Monday nights only. So don't show up at 11 o'clock tomorrow, because he ain't going to be here. So Monday nights, he'll be working, but he's got other stuff I need him to do. So at Monday nights, 7 to 9, that's when the class will be. So if you haven't signed up, you may do so today. And of course, as always with every class, you may register tomorrow night as well. So we'll look forward to seeing you at that point. And then the rest of the classes for the first 6 months of next year, and some SLI classes, we'll be giving some instruction about that next week. So be prepared for that. So I know people have asked me about that whole thing as well. Practitioners, if you are a practitioner, your monthly meeting is this Tuesday, December 2nd. Just a reminder to all of you, that's at 7 o'clock. I don't know if do they do dinner that night? Or no? Okay, you're not doing dinner, so eat before you come. And so please, practitioners, 7 o'clock. Are there any first-time visitors joining us for the very first time today? If you could raise your hand high in the sky. Stand on up so we can welcome you. We have a gift for you. Welcome to each of you. Our practitioners are passing out CD cases to all of you. You may redeem that at our welcome table just to give us your information and so we can get your information, but that's redeemable for our CD of Reverend Dr. David Ault's talks, especially selected for you. Welcome to our community. It's great to have you here. If we could have this opportunity to shut off any cell phones you might have, I mean, humor me. Really, literally touch your phone and turn it off. That would make me happy, really happy. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a great week.
I wanted to add to and draw your attention to inside your programs, there's an extra envelope this time of year. And this is, if you feel so led, if you want to contribute anything to the staff for an end-of-year bonus. These envelopes will be inside the programs for the next 3 weeks. And so again, if you feel so inclined, they do so much above and beyond anything that we could have ever asked them to. And this is the way the community can express their appreciation. If you would, please stand. I invite you to take your programs, and on the inside is our Declaration of Principle. I invite you to read that with me together. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Please remain standing. Your song lyric is on the inside. It's called You Are Welcome Here.
Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Love is welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Turn to those around you and say good morning and welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Wow. That was a wonderful explosion of energy. Now I just invite you to take all of that love, all of that connection, and draw it inward as we are going to connect energetically with the divine. I invite you to actually just perhaps get settled in even more so and remove anything from your lap as we prepare. And today, one of our brand new practitioner graduates will be leading us in our prayer time. Please welcome Kathy Daniels.
I've had the wonderful privilege of going to youth camp with our teenagers for many, many years as I worked in the youth program before I became a practitioner, actually. And at youth camp, you're divided into families, and you have workshops every day. So right before our workshop a few years ago, we got word that one of the kids at camp's father had made his transition. And we had 3 kids in my family alone that were orphans. So the thing, and it's important because what happened when we started the workshop, we were given little hand mirrors. And we were supposed to look in the mirrors and see the eyes of God. But the first thing that happened to me when I looked in the mirror was the color of my eyes. I have turquoise blue eyes, for those of you who don't know me up close. But my dad had sky blue eyes. And I realized that my dad was present with me at that moment and that I was looking in my dad's eyes first. And we exchanged some pleasant things. He told me how proud of me he was. And then he said, I want you to tell them the God part doesn't die. No matter what kind of parents or what happened to your parents or your friends that leave, the God part doesn't die. And so, as we go into our meditation, my suggestion, what I like to do when I meditate and when I suggest to you is to, as you close your eyes, to imagine holding that little mirror in your own hands. And you're going to look into that mirror. And the words I say, I will say for myself, but I'm also saying them for you, and you may take them as your own as you wish. I imagine holding this little mirror. I see all of my face at first, and then I focus on my eyes. I see God in my eyes. It is always there. I see the eyes of God who never leaves me. The Spirit of God in me guides me to have dominion over the world of effects. I rise above anything that denies good. Good is real. God is all there is. Love is the only power. I am united with good, with God. The power of God flows through me to everything I face in my life. There is one life through everything, one presence manifesting. As I look in my own eyes, I know all external characteristics that are different are really covering the universal sameness. We are one in the infinite mind. I look past my differences and see the God, the same God each person sees. I am in God, God is in me, we are one. Regardless of what is going on in the news, I know my union with God and the union of God in all people. There is spiritual unity back of all things. As I look in the eyes of my imaginary mirror, I open my consciousness to God in me. I see and feel my own illumination. The light I see coming through my eyes is the pure light of God. It shines out to all I meet. It shines through me, giving me new life every day. This radiance emanates from the center of everything. I know that no matter what is going on, I simply close my eyes, look in my inner mirror, and am reminded God is always with me, through me, as it is with each of us. I am so grateful to know this presence is always with me. This is my truth, and I release it into the law of the universe, and together we say, and so it is.
There is so much love. There is so much grace. There is so much joy. In this place. There are open hearts. There is peace on each face. Spirit's with us now. In this place. In this place. In this place. And good morning. We just came out of a season of Thanksgiving, but we stay in the consciousness of giving, and the song is for that. Well, everybody's reaching for something. Every day pulling and tugging, and always wanting a little more. Holding on to hurts like an anchor, treating those we love like strangers, taking names and keeping score. We all know what we're really after. Somewhere along the road, we got it backward. If you wanna get love, then give it. If you wanna feel some forgiveness, then you gotta let go and do some forgiveness of your own. If you want a friend, then be one. A little bit of kindness, show some. You'll be surprised at how much fun is way back home. It don't matter what it is. If you want it, I've been downright stubborn at one time or another, and found it easier to bend. I've had a shoulder to lean on, been the one who got to be strong, and peace was waiting at both ends. I felt the power, I've seen what it can do. It seems so simple, but it's true. If you wanna get love, then give it. If you wanna feel some forgiveness, then you gotta let go and do some forgiveness of your own. If you want a friend, then be one. Little bit of kindness, show some. You'll be surprised at how much fun just way back home. It don't matter what it is. If you want it, if you want a friend, then be one. A little bit of kindness, show some. You'll be surprised at how much fun is way back home. It don't matter what it is. If you want it, give, yeah. If you want it, give. Come on and give.
Cheryl Chandler. Yes, thank you. Girl, you can sing. Your voice is like butter, but better. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Just want to send some love, and I want you to send some love to that camera, to our very own Penelope Williams. Her mother made her transition, and so she is at home with family, and we just want to say, she's watching, by the way, so we love you. You're probably familiar with this particular symbology or mythology from the Egyptian culture, and that is the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? And maybe you haven't really delved into all of the particulars about that mythology. So for one, the phoenix is this bird, this massive bird with this amazing plumage. And the symbol that you always see is it rising out of some urn or some pit or some nest and going up into the heavens. And what that bird symbolizes, it depends on what resource you look at. I looked at a lot of them. So it says that the bird lives for 100 years. One said it lives for 500 years. One said it lived for thousands of years. It lives for a long time, okay? So this phoenix, this bird, lives for a very long time. And then the most remarkable thing happens. There is a self-knowingness inside the phoenix. There's a self-knowingness inside the bird that it is time to go into a self-generated fire. Not just a fire by accident, but a self-generated fire. And it knows by flying into this portal or in this fire that the fire will consume the nest and it will consume it. And from that experience, from that decision, there will be this pile of ash. But the beautiful part about the mythology around that is that as we read this, we are aware that the ash is not the final part of the story, because from that ash then is seeded a baby phoenix, a phoenix chick. And as that chick begins to mature in and of itself, it takes with it, or it absorbs from the ash, all of the wisdom, all of the insight, and all of the experience of the previous phoenix. So that as it goes and as it matures and as it flies out into now its life experience, for however long that will be, that it takes with that innate sense of knowledge and wisdom. But that innate sense of knowledge and wisdom isn't its ceiling per se. It actually becomes its foundation. So generationally, what happens is then the wisdom begins to continue to escalate in the form of that chick, so that it now creates a new window, a new heaven, a new reference of genius. And so when we think about that, and we study that, and we see this reference depicted in all kinds of different cultures. But what it symbolizes for us and what it teaches is that the ash itself is not the final say. That from everything that is burned comes and is birthed something new. But the most fascinating part of that story to me was the fact that the fire was self-generated. That the phoenix made the decision that its time was up, that its life was over with, that its interaction with the world was completed, and it was time for something new to be born. And so when we take that and personalize that, what I love about the fact is that within us is that same innate sense of wisdom, that same innate sense of calling that says, is it time for you to self-generate a fire to let something be burned up and to die? Is it time to let go of an old idea, an old sense of self, an old identity, an old story? Is it time for you and I to create that experience so that something new can be born? The same parallel exists in the book of Isaiah in the Bible. The book of Isaiah, by the way, is a book of prophecy. And it was written by the prophet Isaiah. And much of the theme within the book of Isaiah is about the telling of a Savior to come, about the regeneration or the rebirth of humankind, those of us as a worldly species, that something new is about to be unearthed. And so to take heed, the scripture itself actually says that we will provide for you those who are in grief, to bestow on you a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord or law for the display of its splendor. So the prophet Isaiah continues in his book to forecast the idea that a new consciousness will be born. And from a metaphysical perspective, we can take that and say that that's true for any generation of us. That what lies in the mystery ahead of us is the invitation, if you will, for something new to be born. And it isn't so much that a person will come and save us, but it's that we, as that which is connected to the vine, the Savior within us, the right action of consciousness within us, will be born out of the ash, beauty for ashes. And so when we begin to look at this and understand this, we start to look at our own lives and we start to think, where am I not contributing to my self-generated fire? In other words, where am I hesitating and letting something die? Where do I have a bloody knuckle grip on form? Where do I have an attachment to a story? Where do I have an allegiance to or a loyalty to some lack or limitation or some grievance? Because by doing that, what I'm not doing, which was the wisdom of the phoenix, is I'm not flying into the opportunity to let all of that be consumed by the purification of a fire that wants to take me, wants to take you, and allow something new to be born from it, to be able to fly out into the next level of expression. So you get, right, that wherever you are in life, that age is meaningless, that opportunity is constant, and opportunity is not defined or equated to age. Opportunity is not defined or equated to your economic bracket. Opportunity is not even defined by your history. Opportunity is in alignment with your recognition and your action of it. And so when you start to see that every single day, if you will, there's an opportunity to have a self-created fire that will burn up the smallness of us, that will burn up the separateness of us, that will allow something new to be generated in that ash. And much like the message that we would hear, let's say, on an Easter, where we talk about the fact that before you could ever have a resurrection, you have to have a what? A crucifixion. Well, according to this symbology and mythology, before there can ever be beauty, there has to be ash. You can't have one without the other. Before there can ever be any knowledge about what light really is, you and I in physical form get to experience darkness. Before we can really understand the infinite nature of our beingness and of our mind, we have to go through the emotional journeying of finiteness, confinement, and restriction. And you get then that that's part of the soul's assignment. That's part of your assignment, part of my assignment, is we come into these beings, we come into these skin suits, we come into this planet at this time in order to travel this emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual journey, in order to be consumed time and time and time and time again by the self-created fire, so that you and I can experience what it means to be born again, what it means to have the Savior, the messianic energy, birth within us, so that we can understand our connection to the divine. Because just coming in and knowing full right out that we are connected to divine kind of spoils the journey, doesn't it? Can you imagine going to a suspense movie and already knowing and seeing the last 2 minutes of the frame and then go, okay, I don't need to see the rest of the movie? No, what do? You buy your ticket because you want to go along for the ride. You open up a mystery novel and you don't, well, some of you probably do read the last 4 or 5 pages, but most of you probably enter into that experience willingly to go along for the energetic ride that takes place. Do you know that your soul entered into this experience willingly for the energetic ride? And to have bypassed all of this, all of the ash, then precludes us from experiencing the beauty that wants to be birthed from that. So the whole maturity component of walking this spiritual path is not to reject or spend time wishing that things had been different. It's not about wanting to go back and recreate the past. It's about celebrating the past. Every single fiber, every mishap, every grievance, every judgment, every betrayal, celebrating all of those things, because each of those is like a particle of ash in that pit that fertilizes and allows the beauty of who and what you are to be able to rise and to have the experience that it so joyously and willingly and eagerly wants to have by means of you. And so the less time we spend in wishing things had been different, and the more time we spend in celebrating the order that is there, even when we can't see it, gives that phoenix the opportunity, the phoenix within us, the opportunity to rise again. And as the prophet Isaiah said, it gives us the opportunity to realize and know that there is beauty for ash. There is strength for fear. There is an eternality and an infinite nature to that which appears to be finite. And so this is the journey that you and I have signed up for. And so what happens, I go back to that term, self-created fire. What you might have forgotten about yourself is this. You are a part of a system of wisdom that cannot be denied. Within you is a wisdom that will not take no for an answer. Within you is such a divine sense of synchronistic order and genius because you are a part of that which is all power, all wisdom, all knowledge. You're a part of that. So it cannot be denied. So have you ever had this experience? That when we deny it for so long, when we run against it, when we resist it, when we try to do everything that we can to avoid it, the genius inside of us creates its own self-generating fire. Any of you ever been there? How many of you have had your own self-generating fire? That's the wisdom inside of you that will not be denied. Fun, right? Isn't that cool? That means that we either create the fire like the phoenix did willingly, or the genius inside of us will do it for us. And so what we get to understand along this ride is that it's not something to fear, it's actually something to celebrate. It's actually far more painful when we fear it, rather than when we just simply walk into the fire to realize, and here's the thing, to realize that the fire in and of itself is, you ready? Illusion. Because that which we fear, that which we feel is destructive, is actually the beautiful necessary elements, particles, components that want to take you and lift you into that next expression. But it cannot do that unless you go into the self-generated fire. The self-generated fire that wants to burn off the smallness. The self-generated fire that wants to invite you to finally, once and for all, let go of the petty grievance. And so we see this played out individually, but we also see it played out on a wide scale. I do not dare stand before you this morning and say that I understand every single person's individual pain. But I can look at something like Ferguson, and I can, only through practice, and I can say there is good here. There is order here. I must be able to say that. I must be able to say that if I am to stand in the integrity of this teaching. And that's not always a popular thing to do. And again, I do not dare stand and say I can identify that with that particularized pain. I can identify with other kinds of pain. All of us All of us in the human experience have been marginalized. All of us at some level have felt the injustice of something. But what it requires of us is to not leave it there. The emotional journey says you must not linger in the ash. You must not make the ash the final resting stop. You must not hold on to it and put it in a place of sacredness and say, here is my story, and this is it, because it is not it. After everything that happens in our world, whether it be, do you realize that there is a Ferguson experience happening across the planet every single day? And so what is it that you and I are called to do? One would think that the most effective thing would be to go and to meet force with force. It doesn't matter what the story is. It doesn't matter what the conflict is. It doesn't matter what the injustice is. It's like you and I, on a human level, are bred to go in and attack systemic issues at the level of issue. But what a spiritual, conscious human being does, which is not always popular, is to look at those situations and be willing to dissolve that which seems to appear separate, and to look for the beauty in the ash. And to actually do this, demand to see the beauty, demand to see the order, demand to see the allness of God, that which is source, that which is intelligence in that situation. Do you realize that when you demand that, then by the law, that order must rise? The part of you, the wisdom part of you, inside of you, whether you cooperate with it or not, that will create the self-generating fire. There is also that part of you, the demandment part of you, inside of you, that will not sit still. And it will demand of you a higher level of self-respect, a higher level of self-honoring, a higher level of beingness in the world. And if we do not cooperate with that, guess what? There will be a generating fire. It won't be a self-generating fire, but it will be a fire generated by some other selves. And so whether we choose it consciously or not, there will always be purification. There will always be ash. And what do we know that ash to be? It is the fertile particle of what is wanting to be birthed. And so when we sit with that, and we look at that, and we honor that, or not, the one thing that I beg you to take away is this. Our beingness matters. And the reason that we are here is very simple, and that is to love. Because what love does is it dissolves the illusion. What love does is it takes the ash and fertilizes it so swiftly, so productively, so exuberantly, that the beauty that rises from that ash happens repetitively over and over again. You get this is not a one-time process, right? You get that the self-generating fire is a constant thing. It's a cycle of human existence. And so when we understand that, we begin to realize and go, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I get that gratitude is not something that's reserved for a season, a holiday, a Thanksgiving, but that gratitude is actually a lifestyle. Gratitude is a calling. I wrote that in this week's newsletter. And I said, from that gratitude, then here's the thing, here's the mission for you and I. We are here to love. When you honor another with thoughts and or actions of love, particularly when it's not convenient, when others' loyalties become fickle and accusatory, even when they condemn or conspire against you, what you are doing is you are loving every part of you. Do you get that? When you love the fickle nature, the accusatory nature, the opposition that's out there, what you are actually doing is you are loving every part of you that is fickle, every part of you that is accusatory, because at the end of it all, the understanding is there is no us and them. There's only one. There's only one thing happening here. That means that I am both the teenager and the cop, that I am both the aggressor and the victim, that I am both the perpetrator and the one being marginalized. In every situation of human existence, we play both roles. And the whole journey of that, the whole hero's journey, and you've heard that term over and over again, that whole journey is comprised of you and I getting this. That it really isn't an us and them. The moment that the world, the collective, gets that there is no us and them, all of that conflict, all of that illusion would cease. And so we are here to love. When you honor another with thoughts and or actions of love, particularly when it's not convenient, when others' loyalties become fickle and accusatory, even when they condemn or conspire against you, you are loving every part of you. When you love those who turn against you, you love the part of you that turns against you. When you love those who turn against you, you love the part of you that turns against you. When you choose loving thoughts towards those who condemn, you love and restore the part of you that self-condemns. When you choose to love another, even in profound disappointment, you bathe yourself in compassion for all the times that you have disappointed yourself. This is because there is no us and them. We are all interconnected. How you act towards another is the action that you and I direct towards ourselves. And so the whole goal, the whole mission is, how do I uncover this knowing? How do I uncover this instinct? How do I allow that self-created genius, that self-generated fire within me to have full reign, rather than letting the smallness and the egoic self try to suppress it because it's uncomfortable, because I feel attacked, because I feel separate, because of whatever it is that's being reignited within us that speaks and screams and cries of injustice. How do I move beyond that so that I can see with the lens and the eyes of God? What I know for me is that I'm successful sometimes, and sometimes I am not. But here's the thing, the times when I am not, the times when you are not, what is the action? What is the call? To go to our metaphoric knees and to allow that ash, to allow that fire to burn within us, whatever smallness is there. Whatever stale energy is there, whatever marginalized event is there, to allow it to be consumed, because obviously, this has appeared for us for a very specific reason. You get that, right? That everything that has crossed our path in this life has done so to elevate us. Ooh, wow. To elevate us to the next experience. Neil Donald Walsh said, I have sent you nothing but angels. Okay, quickly, go back. Think. How's that working for you? I've sent you nothing but angels. I've sent you nothing but a support system to allow you to burn off anything that is illusionary. In order for you to rise like the phoenix into that experience. In order for you to experience and to taste, to feel and to embody the beauty that is you, through the ashes that are there. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote, one part of the universe does not contradict the other. I loved that. One part of the universe does not contradict the other. I interpret that to mean that parts of that which are going on in the world do not contradict the fact that God is all that there is. Sit with that one. How can that be so? How can I look and absorb all of this and say, that is not a contradiction to the idea that the divine is forever present? But if you and I are to walk this spiritual path in integrity, it's a demandment to look with a clearer vision beyond the surface. He goes on to say, our individual being does not contradict the universal side of us. Even though we are confused, it does not contradict the equilibrium of the universe. Man is the only thing that is confused. Nature is not. We have to lose our littleness. We have to lose our littleness in something greater than we are. He goes on to say, man cannot live without faith because faith is real. He cannot live without love because love is beneficent. He cannot live without beauty because beauty is harmony. He cannot live without a song because life is melody. Man cannot live without adventure because there is pressing against him the dynamic force of that which paints the sunset and causes the soft glow of the evening twilight, sings in the bird and plays in the child, announces itself through each of us, and proclaims itself at the level of our recognition of it. And that's the world that I want to recognize. And we recognize that world not by burying our head in the sand, but by being willing to walk into the ash and be the person, be the consciousness, be the hand that lifts one another out of that into the beauty that wants to fly. I know we do that by self-example. And when you want to talk about interconnectedness, this is what goes on. The moment that you give yourself permission or the ability to remember the truth of who you are and to rise out of your own metaphoric ash and be that phoenix, to know that there is beauty for ashes, to be the fulfillment of the prophecy of an Isaiah, that you are the savior of your own life. When you give yourself permission to do that, guess what happens? Just from your own vibration, not without words, not without cajoling, not without platform, not without proselytizing, but just by your pure intent and energy, you influence all of those around you. That's what it means. That's what Gandhi meant when he said, you must be the change. You must be the change. Not the government. Not this sect of people. Not this person. Not your mother. Not your father. Not your exes or your wannabe exes. You must be the change. Not, it would be nice if you would be the change. You must. You must. And that's the part of you, like we said, that will not let up. It will not let up. It will not stop in its poking and its prodding and its urging and its pushing and its dissatisfaction and its avalanche of sorrow in order to get your attention to wake up. To wake up and to honor that which you are so that you may rise. The ash is the embodiment of the journey. It is the fertility that beckons you into a grander and greater experience. So I invite you today to close your eyes. Take a deep breath that's really deliberate, as if you're filling the whole cavity of your body, as if you are oxygenating every cell, every organ, every tissue inside of you. And as you feel that just pause for a moment in the silence and try to get in touch with your higher being. Allow that which is the God of you, the wisdom of you, the genius of you, to direct you in what it is that you are called to do. What is next for you? If you feel that you are playing small, it's because you're playing small. If you are unhappy, it's because something is wanting to die so something new can be born. If you are mourning, it says mourn, but don't stay there. If you are swimming in some kind of energy of self-hatred and loathing, then either drown or stop. And realizes that is not your soul's assignment. I don't care who said what. If you have bought a bill of goods that talks about the fact that you are inadequate, that you are damaged, that you are not enough, that you are diseased, if you've allowed yourself to identify with those labels, then it's time to let the ash of that burn. It's time for you to go into the self-generated fire so that something new can be born. What have we got to lose? What have we got to lose by doing this other than our smallness? What have we got to lose other than the illusion of separatism? What have we got to lose? And so we let go of the worry about what others will think. And we stand in this moment of our power, in this moment of truth, in this moment of clarity. And we proclaim and declare right here and right now, I am that beauty, and I rise. I rise. I rise today out of the ash of my story and my history. I am better than this. I take ownership of the God within me. I become the mouthpiece. I become the walking example. I become the breath. I become the hands. I become the heart. I become the solution that infiltrates into every single world event. I become that because that is what I choose. So now in this moment as we breathe together, we will just allow the breath to be affirmation that we are in agreement with this. That we have said yes to the productivity and the beauty of life by means of us individually and collectively. That we stand for something and against nothing. And allowing this to be our truth now. We let it resonate. We let it breathe. And we affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Baji, would you come do me the honors?
I am here to lead us in our grateful giving. But what I really want to say first is that I am so grateful to Reverend David. I'm always grateful to Reverend David for his talks, for his spiritual leadership here. But I am particularly grateful today for the talk, the centering. We are the light of the world. This is the season to shine brightly. But we have to do self-correction sometimes before we can go forth. Thank you. And now as we prepare our gifts, as we participate in the giving and the receiving, because we must do both to be in proper alignment, yes? So affirm with me, please, the affirmation for giving, which is inside the program. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you.
You ready to go again? So sometimes this self-generated fire calls for bravery. What would I do today if I were brave? Ask yourself that question. What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sails? How far will I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there heroes in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would you do today if you were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? Would I refuse to listen to the voice of fear? Let the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What step would I take if I would pray.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Real quickly, I go every year in January. I actually just got back from Cambodia. This is my school in Cambodia. These are my... This picture was actually taken by Nikki. Wave, Nikki. Nikki came with me last year. I've had 2 slots open up if anybody wants to go with me in January. So there are some flyers outside for that if you would like. I invite you to stand. I invite our practitioners to come. And they're going to line up before you. I think it's a beautiful thing if you don't just leave, but you consciously make a decision to do an affirmative prayer about your own process, about your own self-generated fire and what needs to transpire for you. Let one of these amazing souls know that truth with you, and let us sing our closing song together.